Hi, Monica. How are you?
I'm doing great, Charlie. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. It would be great if you could talk a little bit to begin with about yourself and your company.
Sure. I'm Monica Gauba. I'm the founder and CEO of SureRev AI. We are building a agile go-to-market operating system for go-to-market teams, marketers, and revenue leaders. Um, the go-to-market operating system is AI-enabled, allows teams to build a strategy and align around strategy, messaging, and execution. I've spent 20 plus years in as a product leader and go-to-market leader, and I built several products and led them through all stages of growth for SaaS companies. Even focusing on reporting, analytics, data science, and AI. And I'm really passionate about building sound growth strategies and aligning the entire go-to-market team around those strategies, because I think that's where the magic happens. So happy to talk to you about this today, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing to have you. I guess we could go straight into one of the core topics then that we're going to be talking about. So, you're going to be speaking at a panel at our summit, the CMO Summit in Boston. And one of the topics that you're going to be covering is GTM alignment and like in the C-suite. So why is go-to-market and C-suite alignment such a critical issue right now?
Right. So, we are operating in a very, very hyper competitive environment with technology changing every day, B2B methodologies and what marketers need to do changing along with the technology, buyer journeys changing. And it's also really getting, very, very easy to build products. ChatGPT 5 got announced, and their core focus was on how to build products in a few minutes with AI. But as it gets easier and easier to build products, it's only going to get harder to get them to market and even stand out in the crowd. And we have research, long-standing research from folks like SiriusDecisions that tell you that only 25% of product launches meet their revenue targets. And now you can couple that with what people are doing with AI and rapidly developing products with AI, and this is only going to get worse. There are also several other research studies from McKinsey and HBR that talk about how a strong alignment actually delivers successful products and actually impacts the profitability of companies. So I think it's really, really critical that the C-suite looks at how they're developing alignment within their orgs, and not just focused on tactical AI to develop products, but what does this mean for go-to-market?
Wow, that's a really important statistic. I think 25% of product launches meet their revenue targets. So there must be such a hidden cost to go-to-market misalignment then. Can you try and help us quantify that in terms of revenue, pipeline, or speed to market?
Yeah, I mean, GTM teams are comprised of product teams, sales teams, marketing teams, customer success teams, right? So it's a large part of your org, and when they don't align, practically every KPI suffers, right? Your pipeline is hard to build. You don't know who to fill it up with. Your cost of customer acquisition goes up because you don't have a repeatable sales process. Your messaging is off, right? Your click rates and conversions are low. Your win rates are low, and even your churn is high, right? So it impacts every aspect of your KPI, and which obviously amounts to costs in the organization, lack of efficiency, impacting both your top line and your bottom line.
Wow, yeah. It's really interesting, I think, because there's always a huge conversation around when things don't work in a company, what's wrong with all of the departments and what's wrong with all of the teams, and what could they be doing better. But I'm thinking about how a company starts with leadership. So where does alignment typically break down between the C-suite? So specifically the CMOs, CROs, and CFOs, and why does that happen?
Yeah. In what I've seen and with my experience, and in speaking with my clients and folks that I've interacted with over the years in these leadership roles, I think the fundamental challenge for any CMO, CRO, or CFO, or any C-suite person is not being aligned on the target market that they need to focus on. When that happens, you don't know how to allocate resources and budget. So it really impacts what the CFO is interested in. Your product and marketing and sales teams cannot align on timelines. Sales wants to deliver things for the customers they're working with, and then the product teams can't really match those expectations because there is no alignment. They're going in all different kinds of directions, focused on all different kinds of product areas, and you lose those commitment to timelines. So there is a ripple effect across the organization. And another reason is that folks don't have a single source of truth for capturing market signals, analyzing them, and then acting upon them. They're still working off of collaboration stacks like Slack or Google Slides, which are great, and they do a lot for aligning and collaborating across the organizations. But that is not enough for capturing all your market signals, knowing what's happening, then being able to respond and adapt to it.
I find it really interesting when we talk about teams not aligning, especially when it comes to the target audience, because you'd think, looking at it in the grand scheme of things, like that would be the core thing that you would always define, and that everyone should be working towards and targeting. So I'm really interested to understand a bit more about, like, what does great alignment actually look like when working across go-to-market and leadership teams, and like what specifically they can do kind of to achieve this alignment?
Yeah, there's a lot they can do to achieve the alignment, but what it looks like at the end, if you look for a good, if you're really looking for examples of what good alignment means and how it shows up, it really shows up in your product market fit. It shows up in your channel fit. It shows up in your message fit. And when that happens, customers are responding to your message. You have high rates of conversions. They're loving the product you're buying. That means your revenues are, you're showing a good growth rate. And when not just on the revenue side, you see retention happening, right? There are folks are renewing your products. It shows up in your NPS surveys. It shows up in your employee engagement surveys and employee morale, because employees understand that this is a shared objective, this is a shared goal, and they have a strategy to work with. I've been involved with so many employee engagement surveys over the years, and there are ups and downs. And I think the most common thread is we need to understand what's happening in our org, and we want to make sure every employee wants to understand how they are part of the big picture, having a shared narrative. That's where you see, when that happens, you have alignment. When you have low NPS scores, when you have low employee engagement scores, you should absolutely look at and answer this question: are we an aligned org?
Yeah, definitely. I think it makes complete sense. It's kind of a cycle, isn't it? So employees, they get happy and engaged, when things are working out well, and then they start to feel a bit more of a morale boost and wanting to do more towards the company, which then makes them happy because things are working again, and it's like that nice cycle. Yeah, so we touched on a little bit, like there are a lot of things that people can do in order to align better. But more specifically, how can go-to-market teams stay in sync and adapt quickly when the market moves? Because I know that it's so busy right now and things are constantly changing. So yeah, I'm talking about like when the market moves, whether it's competitors, pricing pressure, or new regulations.
Yeah, I think really what they should be looking at is, do we have a single source of truth, right? Are we looking at the same thing, the same signals, the same strategy, the same value props? And do we really understand as an organization what we are focused on? They should, along with that, also aspire towards an agile methodology. The software development teams over the years have developed an agile software development methodology. I think it's time that go-to-market teams also adapt that methodology. But that means they're working with that single source of truth. They have a single view of the data. They have a single process to look at, and they're able to connect the dots between strategy, messaging, and execution. But that is what they should aspire towards. It's quite apparent that markets are changing fast, and especially every day there is some AI news from some large company, and that's impacting how we develop our products. That's impacting how we deliver our products. That should also impact how we can go to market and adapt with those. What's happening in our product development and delivery teams. They need to really unify around the source of truth and think about how they can adapt with more agile practices. On our part, what we've done is we've actually written a white paper on how teams can look at these agile agile go-to-market practices. And folks can go to our website and check out our white paper around, and the link is SureRev.ai/agile GTM. But we really believe in that methodology, and I think it's not hard to follow. It's just a mindset shift that organizations need to do.
Yeah, I did have to have a bit of a laugh when you said about AI and there's so much coming to market, because it's absolutely everywhere. You can't escape it, especially if you're in B2B or you're on LinkedIn, you'll see it. It's everywhere. And it's kind of become a point now where if you do not kind of adopt it yourself, you're running behind. So with AI being everywhere, how can it start to improve alignment rather than adding all of this noise and not being able to, pick apart what we actually need?
Yeah. I mean, it's actually AI it really excels and we can really help organizations connect the dots, right? We know all these different functional teams working on their own different outputs and they have their own projects that they manage, but AI can really help connect those dots. And combining AI tech with context engineering, agentic frameworks that we hear about all the time, we can not only build efficiency in our teams, but we can also build true alignment within the orgs. And this is an area that I have focused on for the last year or so, and I've been dabbling around with various AI technologies and AI models, and I've seen some incredible results. You can really and easily connect the output of what used to be individual teams and actually connect those outputs to drive the output and a shared outcome together. So, you can really connect projects, you can connect strategies, you can connect dashboards, and more importantly, you do that to share the outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, AI can be incredibly helpful. I think it's just important to learn how to use it. But there's so many different ways in which you can use it. I know, we mentioned about it collaborating more effectively. So I'd love to understand a bit more how you are seeing AI help CMOs communicate and collaborate more effectively with the C-suite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there is a lot of talk right now on driving productivity within organizations, driving efficiency, maybe even reducing headcount. And I think that's a lot of where the focus is. Perhaps I think there are even cases where it's used to sort of synthesize documentation and maybe even your board decks. But there is a real opportunity where I feel it still needs to be realized by the C-suite, and that is around aligning on these market signals and then adapting your strategy and all your downstream messaging and activities around those signals. But the notion of signals and what market signals mean is somewhat also misunderstood right now, and that is fundamentally the issue. Signals go deeper and are actually really custom to each org or business that you're running, but folks tend to focus on funding rounds or job changes or prospects as relevant market signals, and then they target that as an opportunity to market to the prospects. So people are hunting for who's changing jobs and what's the latest funding, Series A, Series B funding. But in reality, these signals are much more should be much more custom to each organization, right? Maybe I'm a product where partnerships or acquisitions matter more. And so I should be looking at companies who are making various kinds of partnership, having different kinds of partnerships activities within the organization, or they are creating events of a certain kind, but it's really custom to each business. And leveraging these right signals for the business, using AI to discover these signals, and then using AI to adapt to them and execute on them is where the real opportunity is for the C-suite. And that is unique to every business. That helps every business define their own unique strategy, their own unique marketing strategy, as opposed to a cookie cutter approach that every C-suite or CMO might pursue. So I think that's the real opportunity where they can communicate and collaborate with AI technology as the background.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Listen, Monica, I could listen to you all day talk about this, and I could ask you so many questions, but unfortunately, we're running out of time. So I'm going to wrap it up with one question. And this is something where everyone can, go to the summit to listen to you talk about this more. So what do you hope that CMOs walk away with from your roundtable at the summit on this topic?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. So at the summit, we are hosting a roundtable called From Signals to Strategy, Harnessing Real-Time Market Intel and Gen AI to Crack the C-Suite Alignment Code. And I'm really excited about that. I think CMOs, not just I think this is a general viewpoint out there. They're under tremendous pressure to show value from their marketing orgs. And because their role is all about knowing about the market, I think they're in a unique position to help drive both revenue and brand awareness, which is critical for any organizational or product success. So in this roundtable, what I hope to do is be able to look at shared stories, frameworks, and tools around these marketing roles and how marketing leaders can drive alignment within their organization, and to understand whether marketing is well positioned to share and interpret market signals, and if marketing can be the connective issue around product sales and customer success, driving alignment across the entire C-suite and even their organizations. So really excited about this, and I'm really looking forward to the summit.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking time to speak with me about this, and I'm really looking forward to watching your panel.
Thank you. Thanks, Charlie.